And just like that, we are back like we never left, man. Thank you for everybody wishing me a safe trip home. I am here, and I'm finally able to talk about Za'Darius Smith retiring. You guys saw today that he announced his retirement. And I'm here to say that Brad Holmes did not predict that he was going to retire. This is not a win for Brad Holmes, no matter how you slice it up. I think one of the reasons that he's not playing football anymore is because he's not here in Detroit. That's my personal opinion. I'm going to tell you why in a minute. But Za'Darius Smith decides to call it quit after 11 years in the NFL. You could use the argument. All I heard today was that Brad Holmes is a genius. Brad Holmes, we dodged a bullet and all this other nonsense. Za'Darius Smith was supposed to be a Detroit Lion. And I have a feeling that if he was here, he would have at least finished the season. And again, I'll tell you why at the end. Brad Holmes didn't see this coming. It's not like Frank Ragnow. He didn't see this coming. If Za'Darius Smith was going to retire to start the season, why did he wait until the Detroit Lions literally said, we're good, and then within 72 hours signed with the Philadelphia Eagles? He wanted to be here. It didn't work out. And like I said, I'll tell you why I think he retired, among other reasons, but just my thoughts as to why he retired. And I think his Instagram story tells it all. Let's take a look at that, by the way. So I know you guys can't see this, and I'm sorry about that, but this is from Za'Darius Smith's Twitter. It says, I knew this day would come, but now that it's here, I'm feeling so many emotions I never expected. Who would have thought that a kid from Greenville, Alabama, with just 1 year of high school football experience would go on to play professional football in the NFL for 11 incredible years? This game has given me the opportunity to meet great coaches, compete alongside some of the best players ever, and represent some of the greatest organizations in the league. Football has transformed my life and my family's lives forever, and for that, I am forever grateful. This career has taken me across the world, from earning my first passport stamp to visit countries I only saw on maps, to helping me start a foundation that gives back to my community. There have been challenges along the way, but the rewards have outweighed them all and helped me learn, grow, and evolve as a man. For unto whomever much is given, of him shall be much required. Luke 12:14. And to the fans, the biggest thank you of all, to every fan from each organization I represented. Thank you, thank you, thank you for everything. From wearing my jerseys, collecting my cards, sending letters, sharing your opinions, good and tough ones alike, and most importantly, showing love. I felt it all. As I step into the newest season of my life, please know this game has meant the world to me. The lessons learned on and off the field shall stay with me forever. I had to look to the side to see that. And I'm sorry you guys can't really see it. So as we look at this, Za'Darius starts off in a Eagles uniform. And if we scroll here, we'll see him with his kids, with the Eagles, with the Lions, couple photos with the Lions, his kids again, right? The organizations that he's represented from the Browns. And I like how he went in reverse order. Green Bay, and I'm sure the Baltimore Ravens, which is where he originated at. And I think he spent a second go round with them. And he concludes with this picture right here. So I'm going to tell you what I think. And of course, I don't know Za'Darius Smith on a personal level. I don't know the man from, I would know him if I saw him. He wouldn't know me. But I think that one of the reasons, among many, that he retired is because he was ready to invest time into his family. As you can see, he has several small children. And I think this is just my personal opinion. I think the brief time he was in Detroit, I think it made such an impact. Him leaving took a lot out of him. That's just my opinion. Because to me, again, I'm a numbers guy, right? I'm a pattern guy. I'm a stat guy. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But I'm looking at the pattern. I'm looking at the fact that Za'Darius had an extended offseason. A lot of people were saying he is a veteran. He doesn't want to participate in camp. And I think you were right about that. But I think what he was doing, he got released by the Detroit Lions, which was he was under contract for another year. The Lions decided to release him. And I think during that time that he was off, extended vacation, extended off season, he really got time to spend with his family. And knowing that his girlfriend, you had this situation where they broke up, they got back together, and that she's here, I think when the Detroit Lions said, we're good, because it only makes sense to me. I think he was holding out. Did he have any dialogue with Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes? I don't know. Initially, they said they talked to him, but then as the season started to approach, we found out that there was no dialogue. And that could have been on Brad. It could have been on Za'Darius. It could have been a mutual thing where they just didn't talk to each other. But Za'Darius, if you remember earlier in the offseason, after he was cut, he said, somebody asked him, when you going to sign with the Detroit Lions? He said, hey, I'm waiting. You know what I'm saying? So I think that he wanted to be here. In that brief time he was here from his girlfriend to his family. He wanted to be around them. And I think that that's what happened. I think, to be honest with you, that was the deciding factor. So then within 72 hours of Dan Campbell saying we're good, he signs with the Philadelphia Eagles. He plays 5 games. And I think he just misses after playing football his entire life, or, half his life, to being part of this community. Everything the main attraction is here, right? He got his kids. I think he just wanted to spend more time with them, with her. And I think that was the deciding factor. Again, I don't know. I have no idea. I did see that he said the reason was personal. He came out and clarified that it had nothing to do with the Philadelphia Eagles. Of course, I was going to make a joke and say the Eagles made him retire, but I wouldn't be surprised if his playing time had something to do with it as well. But when it's time to go. You lose that spark. If I ever lost that spark about my team, this channel would probably be run by somebody else, right? When when that spark is gone. So again, I don't know. You guys know I don't know the man on a personal level. It just, to me, he had the same excitement, when he got a sack, the same excitement, the same celebration. I think he wanted to be here. He wanted to be here. I think that I'm not saying he retired because he's not in Detroit, but I think Detroit would have gone a long way. Because what I think would have happened, honestly, I think he would have finished out this year as a Lion, and he would have retired then. That's just what I believe. Everything in the 6 months that he was here, man, we made such an impact. Again, his lady is here. He loved it here. We loved him. And I think that was kind of a determining factor as well. So, what's crazy is a year ago, right now, 2 days, as a matter of fact, the 13th. So yesterday was 1 year ago from Hutch injuring himself. It was 1 year ago that the trade deadline talks started ramping up, and where we were making Za'Darius Smith videos, Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson, and how this trade came to be. It was 1 year ago. And in a span of a year, we went from Hutch being injured, us trading for Za'Darius Smith, us cutting Za'Darius Smith, not resigning him, Hutch trying to come back and make it to the Super Bowl, us getting eliminated by the Washington Commanders. And we've come like full circle a year later. And the crazy part is, a year to the day that Hutch got hurt, October 13th, 2024 is when Hutch got hurt. October 13th, 2025 is when Za'Darius Smith retired. Was that on purpose? I doubt it, but I remember stuff like that. So Za'Darius Smith, before we get out of here, man, and wish Za'Darius Smith, I do. Let's take a look. ESPN got the stats. What's crazy is they still got him in the Lions jersey, and they got his stats all together. Like, usually it would say his stats for the season. It'll say 2025 stats, but it's got his career stats. His career stats: 223 solo tackles, 70.5 sacks. He has 10 forced fumbles, and I know he would love to have an INT to complete that. If we look at his career, again, relatively healthy for the majority of his career. I mean, like I said, and his last season, full season, he played all 17 games, and he could have gone out 17 with the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, he missed a game because he was not on the team. So I just want to make something very clear. when it comes to Za'Darius Smith, was Za'Darius Smith a needle mover? No. To me, was he okay? Was he better than Marcus Davenport? Statistically, availability wise, absolutely. Has always been better than, more available than Marcus Davenport. Is he a game wrecker? Not really. Is he suitable? Absolutely. Did he come in and do what he needed to do? Now, he only had 1.5 sacks with the Philadelphia Eagles, which wind up being his third worst year. I have no doubt that if he would have played a full, I mean, he still had 16 more games to play. No, I'm sorry, 11. He still had 11 more games to play. I'm pretty sure he would have ended up with 4-5 sacks. At least. Last year, he had 9. Now, he was on a different team. He was on the Cleveland Browns, and then he was on the Detroit Lions. The Philadelphia Eagles are stacked. They're so stacked. Like, they got Jahad Campbell. They have Azeez Ojulari. Like, they got people, they got pass rushers oozing out of all types of Howie Roseman crevices. So I think that while, some of us try to downplay what he was able to do, I don't care what he did with Philly. I don't care what he did with the Browns. I don't care what he did with any other team. He came in, he did what he needed to do for us. Again, no matter what you try to label him as and what you try to say, he led the team in sacks after Hutch went down. That says a lot about your team. So give Za'Darius his credit. So I was going to say that, who I want? A Myles Garrett, a Trey Hendrickson. If I had my upper echelon of pass rushers this time last year, it would have been Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Trey Hendrickson, Max Crosby, and others. And if I really broke it down, it would have been many, many others. Za'Darius Smith would have been way down that list. But as Brad Holmes said, he was the best available pass rusher at the time. So I wish him well. I hope that he is still young. It's crazy because I'll be 46 next month. And I'm like a whole 14 years older than Za'Darius Smith, which is crazy. Crazy how I'm in high school when the dude is born and he's calling it a career. But again, if the passion's not there, then this is one of them jobs you can't do, just like this one here. So wishing him well. But no, Brad Holmes did not see this coming. He does not get some type of Glaze Award. I mean, if you want to glaze him up and you want to give him the Glaze Award, then you go right ahead. Give him the Glaze Award. Maybe we'll create the Glaze Award so you can give that Brad Holmes saw this coming and we dodged a bullet and all this other stuff. You have no idea if Za'Darius Smith, if Brad Holmes knew this was happening. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say he didn't know this. He didn't, and it doesn't make sense that Brad knew or had a feeling. Frank Ragnow was a little different. Frank Ragnow dealing with injuries. He dealing with a toe you can't even operate on, right? We knew that was coming soon. Za'Darius Smith showed no signs of retirement, showed no signs up until he was blatantly told indirectly, we're good, is he literally didn't sign with anybody else. And then it's not a coincidence that 72 hours after that, he goes to the Eagles. That's not what somebody who doesn't want to play does. Everything he loves is probably somewhere else, and he's ready to settle down and be done. Can't be mad at him. So anyway, not saying that he was the end-all, be-all, but you guys know how I feel about the pass rush. I don't think we're going to win a Super Bowl until we get a quality one. And Za'Darius Smith was the best of what we could get, and I appreciate him for it, and I wish him well on his retirement. This channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. It's because of your support I get to do what I do. You could be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. Farewell, Za'Darius. Thank you for being a Detroit Lion. It's funny how no matter how long somebody is a Lion, once a Lion, always a Lion. Unless your name is Matthew Stafford. I'm not having that. Anyway, you guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions. Don't act surprised. Y'all know me by now. You know me by now. You get your hands off me. Stop the cap.